Welcome to the Ultimate Intimacy Podcast with your two fifth favorite hosts, Nick and Amy. Well, hopefully we're not your fifth. Hopefully we're top three.
Top three?
But with the
That's pretty
Ultimate
big.
Intimacy Podcast,
I'll take top 10.
top 10?
I'll
Top
take
10
top
would
10.
be good.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Today's episode, we're going to talk about what does emotional safety look like in marriage and share some examples and talk about are some of our experiences, and I think this is something that a lot of people deal with is not feeling that emotional safety within their relationship due to maybe some things going on.
Right.
You're just bobbing. Just
Nope,
bobbing.
you're doing good. Nick prepared this. I really don't know what you're here to talk about, so I'm
You-
excited. You said you were going to share stories, so I'm excited about that.
I'm gonna share some stories that are gonna make people blush. Just joking.
About emotional safety.
About emotional safety, yeah.
About emotional safety.
Oh, I'm totally out of my comfort zone right here. We should be talking about sex or something. Still be out of my comfort zone.
Okay,
So.
well, I thought we should start by talking about emotional safety is built through vulnerability, honesty, and communication. That's at least how I feel. You might feel differently, but those are like really big basis to like feeling emotionally secure and safe in your marriage.
Okay, so what is emotional safety? What would that look like in our marriage, right? So like when you think of emotional safety, what would that look like in our marriage? You share your thoughts, I'll share mine.
Okay, I think that would look different to every wife. So you say emotional safety, something's going to come straight to a woman's mind and be like this one thing or these things. And for me, that would probably be, I know that when I share something with you that's important to me, you're going to listen, you're going to pay attention, and you're going to actually hear me. That makes me feel safe. To some women, it might be more, I know that you're loyal, like really fully committed. You're not a luster kind of person. You're 100% committed to the marriage. That's gonna look different to everyone.
The only person I lust at is you. So I can't even talk.
We're gonna do a podcast on lust because I found a really cool clip.
I do lust after you.
Maybe next episode. But what would you answer?
Yeah, I think similar, knowing that I can talk to you about anything and you're not going to criticize or condemn or make fun of me,
I'm not.
that I can be totally vulnerable. You might say, hey, smart one.
Yeah,
what's that saying? Yeah.
Okay, smart one.
Okay, smart one.
Yeah.
I
can do better at that.
Yeah, to know that whatever I say or speak isn't probably going to cause an argument. We're not going to get in a big fight. Like I feel emotionally safe to share things with you, knowing it's probably not going to escalate.
Right.
And, we're going to be throwing dishes and things at each other.
That is not emotional safe.
Yeah, I'm knowing, again, not like things are going to be negative or things like that. Just fully knowing that, hey, like I can talk to you about anything. I can be vulnerable with you. I can feel safe around you that way. And I can trust you. I think trust is a huge thing, right? Like I'm not gonna say something and you're gonna go gossip to your friends at lunch. Oh, you should hear what Nick told me. Right? Like
sometimes I tell them.
Well, it's
the good stuff.
You can tell them all the good stuff.
Tell all the good stuff.
The bad stuff, yeah, those are confidential.
No, I agree.
Not to be released. Yeah.
Agreed. Agreed. And we're talking to couples in, mostly healthy marriages, like obviously. Yeah. We're not talking trauma related here.
But how many marriages do spouses start, talking or getting into a discussion, and one spouse maybe will start putting them down or saying that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard, or make them feel, and maybe they don't try to do it intentionally, but unintentionally make them feel like, man, he's not listening to me, or he doesn't appreciate me, or I don't feel comfortable telling him this because I don't know if he's going to fly off the handle or she's going to fly off the handle, right? And I think there's a lot of marriages that are, so to speak, walking on eggshells a little bit because they're just like, oh, I don't want to trigger him or her or whatever. And they have pretty decent marriages, but there is some emotional safety that's missing, right? They feel safe in other aspects of the marriage, but the emotional part, there's like, I maybe stay away from this because I don't feel completely emotionally safe. So that's what we're going to talk about today.
And I think one of the major ones that I would like to hit on is honesty. I think honesty is just so important.
Yeah.
So important. Like, where were you? Be honest. Like, everything, like, you should
Was I?
never, well, I'm just trying to think of an example, not that you go anywhere, but
I was in our office working.
I was in our office all day. There's a lot of couples that struggle with honesty, which is really sad. So I think that's a big one that probably needs to be hit on. But I was gonna say before we even really dive in is I don't know if I can show this, but the conversation starters on the Ultimate Intimacy app. Can you see that through the reflection?
Oh yeah.
Romance, intimacy, there's all different topics, family,
Well,
finances, spiritual. The reason these conversation starters are so important, and they're free, ultimateintimacy.com. If you don't already have the app,
$3.99.
they're free. Why haven't you downloaded the app? Number one, but these conversations, hundreds of them, helps you build that emotional security when you can talk about anything, any conversation, any topic, and know that your spouse is number one going to be honest with you. They're going to listen to you and they're going to care. That alone is like so big. I don't think a lot of men understand how big that is for women, right? Like we talk all the time, like emotional safety to women is like the best foreplay. So
Well, I was just going to say, like, some of the great things about it, like we've talked about before, is the app's prompting the questions. So
right.
you don't have to feel uncomfortable about asking certain questions, even though you might be uncomfortable with some of the questions we have.
Not on the regular conversation.
Not on the regular
starters.
ones, but yeah, when you're getting into the other ones. But it's supposed to help make it natural, not feeling uncomfortable, and it's obviously going to help you build that emotional safety in your marriage to know, oh my heck, we can have these conversations.
Right.
We can have conversations about sex, and it's not going to turn into an argument or trigger one of us or things like that. Like we can just have any conversations, and I think that was one of the biggest things for Amy and I is when we started being able to talk about anything and everything and not have it cause a
right.
conflict like it would before, right? Like I would say earlier in our marriage was decent, but neither of us probably felt emotionally safe in a lot of ways.
Nick was really bad at communicating. He would just shut down.
Totally.
And then if he was being annoying or we got in a fight, I would literally, not saying I wouldn't shut down. I was a pretty good talker, but like if he kind of shut down, then I would shut down. And shutting down doesn't do anyone any good. So.
And now what am I like? She's like,
can you please shut down?
Can you please shut down? Just please shut down. I don't want to talk anymore.
I'm so tired.
You're talking too much. I'm too tired.
Oh.
So I went from one extreme to she's like, what did I create? What kind of monster did I create?
Talking is good.
Went from not talking.
I have never told you to stop talking. Have I?
No, I'm totally. The audience, hopefully the audience knows we're joking, or we'll get another remark. I can't believe the way they talk to each other. Like they're arguing.
I'm like, what? Okay, anyways.
Yeah, so.
Okay, so should we talk about like, I want to stay positive on the podcast, but there are negative things you can do to kind of like instantly kind of kill that emotional safety, like literally instantly. You could just kill it.
And I think it's something we all do. And naturally, we just have to try really hard and be like, all right, how do I be more aware of this?
Right.
And I think something, at least I've noticed in our relationship, I think the more you start doing these things, the easier it becomes to where it's natural, to where you don't want to criticize or stonewall, do all these things. And so at least that's what I've noticed in our relationship. Like some of these things, I was like, oh, that's probably close to a professional act.
A what?
At some of these things that destroy emotional safety. And now I feel like, I don't even give them a second thought. Like they don't even.
No, I can't put.
It's taking a lot of work though.
Yeah, it does take work. The first one's criticism. Yeah, like if you're, obviously everyone knows that, but being married and all of a sudden your spouse just starts criticizing what you're doing or criticizing a meal you made or criticize how you did this or criticize I don't know, like you're just like, really? Like maybe you could learn to not just criticize me and talk to me in a more respectful way. It's like literally lack of respect when you talk like that.
Yeah, and I feel like criticizing is basically belittling, right? Like when you're criticizing your spouse, you're basically belittling them and making them feel like their thoughts don't matter or their words don't matter. I mean, pretty self-explanatory.
It is self-explanatory,
but it's so easy to do. And why do you think, I mean, why do you think couples do that? Why do you,
Criticizing, a lot of time it's just because one person maybe has lower self-esteem.
yeah.
I mean, just be honest, as a normal couple, like annoyed, you're just literally annoyed.
How could you get annoyed with this? Have
Perimenopause,
you ever,
everything is
oh, yeah,
easier.
yeah, yeah, I guess that's true. I was gonna say, how could you be annoyed?
Men can be annoying and women can be very annoying too. So it goes both ways for sure. But like just criticizing, like when I've heard that women are really good naggers.
We've heard that.
We've heard that women are really good naggers. But really what nagging is criticizing, right? Like, why can't you do that right? Why didn't you do that? Why can't you pay attention? Why can't you read my mind, right? Like,
Why didn't you put the silverware the right way in the
of
dishwasher?
course you brought that up. I swear there's a right way. We still haven't gotten any emails from that question.
Yeah,
Come on, email us.
we're not the only ones, right?
Silverware, up or down? Come on.
Oh, sometimes Amy's throwing them the different way, or I'm throwing them the different way.
No, there's only one way in my eyes. But I don't get mad
Well,
at him when he does it wrong because I even talked to his mom and he was taught his
oh,
way.
there was some deep, what do I call deep, things back in my life that had to do with the silverware.
Let's hear
Let's
it.
bring back deep feelings. So,
Everyone's like, what are you talking about? If you watch that episode, I talked about how you load the silverware either like forks down or forks up. And he's like, they have to go down, they get cleaned better. And I'm like,
no, they have to go up.
oh, up. Yeah. Sorry, I said that wrong. They have to go up so that the fork is sticking up. And I'm like, but when you go to grab it, then you're grabbing the part that you eat with. He's like, well, I wash my hands every time. I'm like, no, you don't. No, you don't. And then you put them back. You just grabbed every part of what we're going to eat with and stick them in the drawer. And now they've been touched. And I'm like, why don't you just put them fork down so you're grabbing this handle part? It just makes sense to me. And his mom's like, no, you're doing it wrong. I taught him the right way. So it's not an issue in our marriage. We just laugh about it.
Yeah, you can tell it's not an issue, right?
It's not. I literally just laugh when I open the dishwasher. I'm like, you can unload it. Wash your hands.
Which is typically what happens. Yeah. So moving on.
I just want somebody to email us and just say, we do it this way. You're right or you're wrong. I'm fine with being wrong. I need to take a poll on this. I should have taken a poll.
It's just like, I don't care how you do the dishes, just do them. Right?
I like doing dishes. I like doing the dishes, but unloading them, yes. Anyways, okay, moving on.
Okay.
Pick it up. Subject. Stonewalling.
Yeah, or stonewalling or emotional withdrawal.
Let's talk about that.
Let's talk about emotional withdrawing because I think that's a pretty popular topic. Don't you?
Yes.
Okay, well, give me your thoughts. I know you're laughing. You're thinking.
Pretty good. You were pretty good at that at the beginning.
Awesome.
Not pointing fingers. We're getting real in this podcast episode, and believe me, I'm going to say stuff that I suck at too.
Totally an expert. Absolutely.
He was pretty good at just like, I've already heard that. I don't want to hear it again. I'm not going to talk about it. I'm just going to go hide.
Well, I don't know about hiding.
Well, not technically, but
technically hide. I just said, yeah, we don't need to hammer that out again.
We don't need to talk about that again. No, it's kind of important. It's literally destroying our marriage. Yeah. Kind of important.
No, I totally did. And I think a lot of men withdraw emotionally. And we've talked about this delicate balance in marriage where, the emotional intimacy, the sexual intimacy, and I think this is where a lot of men emotionally withdraw is in that area, right? I mean, we've talked about that so often before. So
all this comes back to like, you need to be masculine, you need to hide your feelings and just be strong, right? Like you're supposed to be the rock in the marriage. She's the emotional one. And so I think a lot of men take on that personality of like, I got to hold things together and pretend I don't have emotions. But see, this can cause a lot of problems when a husband isn't able to open up and say, I have needs too. I have a mental load too. Like, we need to talk about these things. It doesn't make you weak. It actually, the more vulnerable you can be, makes you stronger and more honest. And I wish women could look at that as like such a great personality trait to be like, I'm being vulnerable. Well, we're teammates in this marriage. I have to be able to share these things with you. Like, we need to discuss these things instead of kind of just,
yeah,
like especially on the rejection issue. A lot of husbands are like, I just finally closed up because I'm sick of being rejected.
Yeah.
Like emotional withdrawal, I see why that happens in that situation. I really
Oh,
understand that. Like
100%.
any person is going to withdraw when they're just rejected, rejected, rejected.
Yeah, they're like, you're gonna feel like, all
Absolutely.
right, you don't even care about me,
But the
right?
more you withdraw, the worse it gets, and that's where divorce comes, right? So our entire point is like that you got to sometimes rip those band-aids off, even though they're really hard conversations, be like, I feel like this and we need to talk about
In
it.
fact, I just read a stat and I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was in the 60%. So I want to say it was like 63 or 65% of divorces are because of emotional withdrawal, where a
Mm-hmm.
couple isn't talking to each other. They're just living together. Emotionally, they're not connected, which means
Right.
sexually, they're not connecting as
Mm-hmm.
well, too. We talk about how those things go hand in hand, right? Like if you have a real good emotional connection, most likely you're going to have a good sexual connection, vice versa.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, if you aren't emotionally connected, that spells bad news, trouble for your marriage, short and long
Right.
term, because it's just going to get worse. The divide's going to get worse. We saw that in our own relationship. And,
Oh, it can't. We almost got to a breaking point because that divide got bigger and bigger, right? And then one time I had a mental little breakdown, come getting out of the shower, I'm bawling, and I'm just like, "You don't listen to me," that whole spill. Probably every wife is like, "Yeah, I've been there." And I really didn't feel listened to. I really had been trying to express things, express how I felt for a really long time. We're talking years. And I had to have a full-on breakdown to be like, no, this is really important. I'm literally at a breaking point right now. Like literally. Like, oh my gosh, I didn't know it was that bad. Yeah, it is, you know? And sometimes that happens, but sometimes those conversations have to be had,
oh, for sure.
and they're rough. They're really, really rough. But hopefully you don't get to that point. But emotional withdrawal, man, it just gets bigger and bigger. That divide just
Hmm.
gets bigger. So
Absolutely.
yeah, that's why I said conversation is everything. Like I really think that marriages, if every couple spent 10 minutes, 15 minutes together every day at lunch or in the morning or before bed, just talking about basic stuff, just how do I love you better? What can I do for you today? What can we do this evening to make it more peaceful in the home? Just how can I help with dinner? What should we do for dinner? Like just, and then get on and have like more romantic conversations or even just best friend kind of conversations. Like conversation changes everything.
Yeah,
It really
and
does.
I love how you're hitting on rather just than just a conversation, like you're hitting on the different areas to have conversations,
Yes,
right?
they're all
Like have romantic
important. Mhm.
conversations, have conversations about sexual intimacy, have conversations about your kids, have conversations about just
Everything,
fun,
right?
right?
Having fun. Yep.
So yeah, it has to be very well rounded for sure.
Yep.
I think the next one is the biggest way if you want to really just mess up your emotional safety in marriage, and that's, keeping secrets or dishonesty.
Absolutely.
And I think keeping secrets is pretty much being dishonest as well too. Now that doesn't
It is
mean
being
you're
dishonest.
telling your spouse every single thing because obviously you just can't. But, if
If you're intentionally keeping something
correct.
from your spouse, that's a secret, and that is absolutely dishonesty,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, for sure.
Right.
Like I mean obviously we can't, you know,
I think they know the difference between I need to share that and I don't need to share that,
correct.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was at the store today. How come you didn't tell me? Well, I
I
didn't
don't
know
need
I
to tell
needed
you.
to tell you I
Yeah.
was at the store, but yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well, there are some couples that there's control issues, and yeah, I mean, we're just diving into like the just kind of the surface level. Like, be honest. Just
yeah,
be honest, right?
yep.
Be honest. It's a commandment.
What do you think about disrespect or dismissing your spouse's feelings? Like I said,
I think
bringing
that's a
up
great way
past
to.
past sins. I think I early on I was pretty dismissal. I would dismiss your concerns because I was like,
Well, it
I
wasn't
don't want to
because
talk
he
about
was trying to be a bad husband. It's just that, I mean, we've shared this before. He was like, I'm the provider. I need to take on this, and I need to make all these financial decisions because I'm supposed to be the provider. I'm like, well, you're not, and you're not doing it. So I had to step in and do it, and that caused a lot of issues.
yeah.
And I don't want to go deep into that story, but yeah, like you have to be talking about the financial things, the different roles, what you need, what she needs. Just, I don't know.
Yeah, and I think disrespect and dismissal kind of go hand in hand, right? When you're dismissing your spouse, they're trying to share
Mhm.
something with you that's important. You're like, yeah, it's not important to me.
Yeah.
That's obviously showing disrespect as well, too. Like, I kind of the rule of thumb that we use, like, if it's important to your spouse, then it should be important to you, no matter
Mhm.
how important or non-important do you think it is? If it's important to your spouse, that means it should be important to you.
Oh, absolutely. And talking about this too, just disrespect. Go back and listen a few back. How many back? 4, 5, 6? We did the rerun of the episode with Tamara
Oh yeah.
about if you wouldn't say it to your boss, don't say it to your spouse. And she's like, this is literally the best
Well, it's the
kind of best advice because you can literally like if I'm not going to say it to a stranger or my boss or a friend or a coworker or somebody else outside of my home, why on earth should it be allowed to be said to your spouse?
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, I would
right?
never
Like
say.
our spouse is the one person we picked. Like we have friends and we have family, we have all these other people in our life. We do. But isn't your spouse supposed to be treated better than everybody? And I know it's really hard because you're married and sometimes you do get annoyed and sometimes you have really hard things you have to discuss and you do have fights and you're like, I don't have to deal with any of that out here. It's just in my family because I'm married to you, right? But still, like those things, and we had to learn this, those things can still be done very respectfully and in
Oh
a
yeah,
kind manner, right? Like, and that takes a lot of practice because it's easy to get upset. I'm
for
not saying
sure.
it's not easy to get upset and annoyed. Like, everyone's married, we all get that. But you can still be upset and super annoyed and still be a respectful person. You just
For
can,
sure.
right?
Yeah, and I think that goes into the next one, which is aggressive communication. That obviously is like yelling,
Mhm.
making threats, things like that. And I think this is probably one of the biggest emotional,
That is a safety killer.
safety
Mhm.
killers as well too. Like if you're always worried that, you're going to say something that's going to set your spouse off or vice versa, I mean, that's going to just kill that emotional safety.
I don't think there's any bigger turnoff than when I hear from women that say, my husband yells at me. He calls me a name. He screams at me when he's upset. He throws like adult temper tantrums. Like, that is like, ugh. No, that's not attractive.
So if that's
That's
a
not attractive. And women probably do it too. I don't hear that from a lot of men. I only hear it from women, but I'm sure it goes both ways. And that's
yeah.
not attractive. Like, don't you want to be attractive to your spouse?
So
I would think so.
So if that's a turn off to you, and I've
You
never
never
done
know.
that, does that mean you're always turned on?
Stop.
I'm just asking.
Yeah, great question.
Uh,
Anyways, moving on.
moving
Needs
on.
to bring something.
What's that?
Nothing.
Oh,
Day 4, guys. Okay.
Dave. Oh, it is day 4. I didn't know you were thinking about that. Are you thinking about that? Have you missed me that much in 4 days?
We're moving on.
Okay. Unpredictability. Just
Oh my gosh.
um, the opposite of it's day 4. Unpredictability. What does that look like in marriage?
Predictability.
I think that's a big one too. Like when you have no idea how your spouse is going to react, like one time they react one way, one time they react a totally different way.
Yeah.
Um, just they're very, very unpredictable. I
Yeah.
mean, in their behavior and their mood swings and the way they react to different things.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm
Am
kidding, Marjotsi. Keep going.
am I an unpredictable person or am I very predictable?
Uh, you're very predictable. Very predictable. Very.
Okay.
Was that the wrong answer?
No, there's no right or wrong answer. I
Okay.
think that's totally
Okay.
good.
Okay.
I think I'm pretty
I don't think that's a
predictable.
bad thing. I don't
I think
think
I'm too predictable.
I think predictability is great. I think we have to be careful here because being spontaneous is fun too, but it depends on it. But like predictability in the things that matter. We're talking like responsibility, being like being mature, being a good, not just companion, teammate in the marriage, but a good person. Like
Hmm.
being predictable in like mature, good adult ways is absolutely so
And
important.
and I think when you're predictable, that does give you safety. Like you just never have to worry about, oh my heck, if I say this,
Right.
is my spouse just going to go off the handle, or how are they going to react, or all those
Absolutely.
things. Like exactly, like, hey, I'm in a safe place. I know exactly how they're going to react. I don't have to worry about anything. We can talk about this tough conversation.
Hmm.
Um, it's just a very safe place to be in.
Right.
And I
Right.
think predictability in a lot of ways is very, very good.
And I think really important to women.
Yep.
Like we have talked about this, but women get married for security, and that means a lot of different things. And that's really big for predictability. Like we need to feel secure that like I already said, just you're mature and adult and responsible, and things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lack of support. What are your thoughts on that? What does that look like to you when you think of lack of support?
I think emotional security for me personally as a wife is knowing that I don't have to do everything on my own. I don't have to feel like I'm alone in the marriage, that I'm lonely, or I'm handling everything myself.
Yeah.
So a lot of women will complain and be like, just that mental load. I feel like I'm raising the kids most of the time. And the situation's gonna look different to everyone. Some husbands are out of town, whatever.
For sure.
But like just knowing that your spouse is like secure and is a teammate and wants to be equal with you and wants to be, I guess the word is helpmate, right? Like like true partners in life and in the marriage. Like I feel that's just, I don't know. That's really big for women. That's really big.
The easiest thing for me is like when you're supporting each other, you're moving forward as one.
Right.
When you're not supporting each other, now you're competing against each other. So when I think of lack of support, I think of me trying to do my own thing, you trying to do your own thing. We're going different directions. If we're supporting each other, then we're both totally on the same page and with the same goals and end in mind. So
yours is more of a bigger scale picture.
yeah, that's just kind of what I think.
I think for me, I went straight to the afternoon routine. Okay, am I the one that has to fix dinner? Am I the one that has to clean up? Am I the one that has to deal with the kids' homework? Am I like that mental load that women have and that responsibility for the kids and the family and the home, especially if you're working on top of that, it's a lot.
Well, that's a good point.
So I think for most women, they're going to go straight to, is he supportive when he walks in the door? Or even if he has a little time off and then he's like, okay, I just needed to, chill for a sec. I'm supportive. I'm here for the kids. I'm a good father. Like that's just so attractive.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Attractive. I totally agree with what you're saying.
And that builds a lot of emotional security, as in the sense that like I know my husband's got my back. I know that he wants to be in this family, that he wants to be in this marriage, and that he's giving it everything he's got. That's big for women. It's very, very important.
Yeah.
And that's easy to break when you might come home from work. Not saying that you shouldn't have some time to yourself every once in a while. I'm not against that at all. But like you go straight to your phone, just kind of dismiss everybody. Like you should be taking care of me. Like the attitude that that women should just take care of them all the time. Like that's, don't get me started.
How do you feel about that?
I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah. I love the last one, judgment or shame. This could look like, telling their spouse that they're not as attractive or they need to lose some weight or like
I think that happens a lot.
There's so many ways to approach things in the right way.
How would you do that in the right way?
How would I do that in the right way?
Yeah.
Well,
we are going to do a podcast episode with an expert on attraction because I'm getting a lot of messages / emails about being attracted to your spouse. Like there's some people like, I'm literally not attracted to my spouse. So I want to address this in a whole entire podcast, but just on a very simple, quick mode, what would you say?
Oh, you're putting me on the spot.
Well, you put yourself on the spot because you brought it up.
Oh, I totally did. All right. So the wrong way is like,
you're fat?
Babe, you're fat. You need to drop some weight. Or babe meaning husband or wife, right?
Right.
Okay. Either way.
I call you babe all the time.
So I would say, and here's one thing I've noticed. It's amazing. I see a lot of men that are telling their wife that they need to lose some weight, and you're looking at the husband and you're like,
really?
You're the one telling them this? Like you look like you just totally gave up, right? It's funny how the expectations of a husband or a wife on what the expectations are.
So what you're saying is don't go up to your spouse and grab their sides.
Yeah, whatever you want to do, right? But
whatever you want to do.
The right approach could be like, hey, sweetie, husband or wife, man, I feel like maybe we could live a little bit healthier lifestyle. What if we start exercising together and eat better? And, it's more of a like, we want to have a good quality of life. What can we do in our lives to have a good quality of life? I don't know. There's so many different ways to approach things, or right ways and wrong ways to approach different things.
What about shaming your spouse for having desire?
Desire? That's a great one.
I just wanted to bring that up because our audience is about emotional and sexual intimacy. I mean, that's what we usually talk about. So I just wanted, just for a couple minutes, shaming your spouse about having too high a drive or too low of a drive. We have extreme opposites here. Very high, very low, probably could go a month, probably could go no more than 4 days. Literally, day four is like max I'm gonna explode kind of thing.
That's
What
I'm glad you
I
brought
think
that
it's
up.
important to bring this up because you can shame your spouse by being like, oh my gosh, you're so annoying.
What's wrong with
What
you?
is wrong with you? It's literally been 2 days, 3 days, you know? And I'm not gonna say I'm not guilty of that. I'm sure I've made comments in our marriage that's like roll my eyeballs. Like again, I have done that.
And I have
I have
too.
done that.
I have too. I'm like, yeah.
But I've definitely noticed, I'm like, that was probably not the nicest thing to say. Like it wasn't. Do you know what I mean? And so I think if we can just take accountability on that and be like, how can we have this discussion on a more mature, loving way where I'm not shaming him for having a higher one, he's not shaming me for having a lower one, and I mean, because
Yeah.
he thinks that I'm crazy because mine is so low, and I think he's crazy because it's so high. Like we both can't really understand each other in that area, but we need to learn to at least be respectful about it, right?
I think that's a great that you brought it up because the first thing that can happen is, just like you said, if you're like, man, what's wrong with you? Then immediately I'm like, what's wrong with me? Like,
Right.
why am I desiring this from her a
Right.
lot? Like, and then I start questioning myself, my natural desires towards her as a husband. Maybe I'm going to say, oh, go into other areas or start doing other things because I don't want her to feel that way about me. Like, I think,
Wait, expand on that. What are you talking about?
okay, so
Going other
why do
ways.
you
What does that
think
mean?
a lot of men turn to, and we're going to do a podcast on this as well. Man, what was the name I was thinking? Oh, I got to look this up. I'm on my computer right now, so apologize. I'm going to
You're
look
looking
this up.
something up.
Yeah, no, I'm going to look up this because I think it's important. Because I think this hits right home with what we're talking about. Oh, if you don't claim it, someone else will. That's a future podcast we're gonna do, but
If you don't claim it, someone else will.
yeah, and we don't need to get into it now, but like understanding
I
like if you
don't know
don't
what you're talking about.
um if you don't claim certain things in your marriage, like you don't claim your spouse's emotional intimacy, you don't claim certain things, someone else will, right? And I think that's kind of filling that void, right? Like if I just an example, and I'm not saying this happens, but it happens in a lot of marriages. But if a husband feels like, oh, a wife's like, oh my heck, again, what's wrong with you? Like and starts going that direction.
I said
A
that.
lot of husbands are going to feel like, yeah, what is wrong with me?
Mm-hmm.
Like, why do I feel the way I do? Is something wrong with me? They start feeling bad about themselves. And what I'm saying is, a lot of husbands have said they start going another direction because they don't want to feel that way, right?
Right.
Like it's so easy to say, well, man, I'm scared to death to initiate with my spouse in fear of being rejected or in fear of being belittled or having them
Mm-hmm.
say something that it's now easier just not to even try. And again, that void is going to be filled somewhere else if it's not being filled, right? And
I
that
hope
goes
not,
for both
but
emotional intimacy. Oh, it's just totally natural. We as humans, if I totally shut off the emotional intimacy in our marriage, you still have that need for emotional intimacy. And I'm not saying you in particular, I'm just saying
right.
in any relationship, right?
Well,
Like,
this goes back to the podcast where its wife can get their emotional levels filled other places like best friends, family members,
exactly.
sisters, wherever, where husbands
They can't,
shouldn't be getting sexual needs filled anywhere else but their wife, right?
yeah,
So, I
exactly.
mean, yeah,
So,
like,
but what I'm saying is, I'm just going off. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just going off of what we hear so often as husbands say, "Man, I feel horrible. I'm always getting denied. I feel like there's something wrong with me for feeling the way I do. Therefore, I just stop asking. And then if they stop asking, then it's really never going to happen because a lot of times the wife are like, "Oh, this is great, right? Like, this is awesome." But
it's not awesome.
the husband's probably gonna go get those needs or things filled somewhere else. And I'm
Or
not
he's probably, or maybe he's not, but he's dying inside. Yeah.
Yeah, but those needs don't necessarily mean sexual. Those needs could be like, I'm gonna go pick up more hobbies and hang out with my friends
Oh, I
and
see
do
what
other
you're saying.
things, just to try to get my mind
Mm-hmm.
off that or feel like someone cares about me, right? Like you see this happen a lot in marriage, and and here's the point I'm trying to make is because for men, if you read our polls or hear all the time from different marriage experts sex to a husband is not just all physical, it's so much emotional. And so when he's not feeling emotionally connected, he's going to go, naturally get that emotional connection somewhere else, just like you said with the wife as well too. Ooh, that was long-winded.
Wow. You really wanted to go down that track.
No, I just think it's important to talk about that because, again, I don't, we don't listen to like a million other podcasts, but I don't feel like people really talk about that.
Right.
I don't. It's just like do this or don't do this or whatever.
So what you're trying to say is that emotional security is really important to a man in that aspect. And that's where they feel a lot of it.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep.
I would not feel emotional security in the relationship whatsoever
if you were constantly rejected.
If I was constantly rejected.
Right.
Correct.
Right.
So.
Yep.
I could have just said that. That would have taken like 5 minutes.
Let's just summing it up for you.
Yeah.
Let's just summing it up for you.
That was great.
You want to move on? We could keep talking about this.
No. What are your thoughts, babe? I mean,
I've already shared my thoughts on this. Yes.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts?
Let's talk about how to bring back that emotional safety before we wrap this up, since we've been concentrating on not what to do.
Okay.
So I would say listen and care. Listen and care. You have to listen to your spouse, and then you have to take that listening and you have to care. I tried to say that really like 101, like basic, because if you're not caring about what they're saying, the listening does no good.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right. If you want to keep emotional safety and you want to have these discussions, whether it's on rejection, whether it's on mental load, whether it's on anything that's kind of tearing you apart, you have to be able to listen to each other and listen and actually care about it.
Yeah, and I think that goes in line with, like trying to understand each other's feelings, even if you disagree. And I think we've done a really good job of that in our marriage. Like Amy doesn't know how I feel. I don't know how she feels, but she tries to tell me how she feels, and I try to express how I feel. And
we try not to get in arguments over it.
Yeah, so we're really like, all right, how do we find a balance in these different areas, knowing that it's not perfect for me, it's not perfect for you, but because this is important to you, it's important to me, and because vice versa, right?
There's got to be give and take.
Yeah, and I think we've done a good job on that. It took a while to get there, but I truly like, even if I don't understand something where Amy's coming from, my mind just goes back to like, this is important to her. So I don't really need to understand why, because if it's important to her, that's all I need to know.
That I've ever brought to you that was like, this is important to me. Can you think of an example? Like recently?
I can think of a lot of things, but I mean, even just like, let's just use this for an example. I don't know if this is good, but I think a lot of husbands and wives deal with this is like flowers, right? For most men, they're like, I don't understand why women want flowers or why my wife wants flowers. And so a lot of times we as men drop the ball and we don't do it because we don't really understand why that's important to our wife.
Guess what I did? I planted my own flower garden and I pick my own flowers every day of my life.
Well, yeah,
problem solved.
Which took me out of the department of being able to give her flowers, because now she's like, you better not buy me any flowers ever, because I can go in the backyard.
That you brought that up. I'm like, flowers? I literally just
I'm bringing up
planted myself an entire garden of flowers.
No, I know, but I'm bringing up like in the past where you know what?
All these flowers when we were dating and first married, and then
she brought that up.
Year 2 was like, oh, you don't need them anymore. We're married.
No, and you brought that up, and I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, I don't understand why they're important to her, but they are important to her. So I'm gonna make it a priority to.
I'm not like needy. I'm like, just like, Valentine's would be great. Every once in a great while would be great.
So I'm a rock star on certain holidays. She with the clockwork is like, oh, I know when I'm gonna get him. And
I'll slide in. Day.
I'll slide in another one sometime in the year just to shake things up. But
so romantic.
I'm so romantic. No, but in seriousness, I go back to, I'm repeating myself. We can't just look at things and say, I don't understand why you need that, and therefore it's not important.
Right.
If it's important to your spouse, it should be important to you, and you don't even need to understand why. You don't even need to give another second of trying to figure out why it's important. That's all you need to know, is it's important.
Got it. Next one is apologizing. I
Oh yeah.
apologize. I suck at apologizing, but I'm like, I'm trying to think. Sometimes I have to apologize for just being in my 40s and perimenopause and not having a libido and sometimes getting annoyed. Sometimes I just have to say sorry, it was a rough day.
Apology
I was
accepted.
annoyed today. I'm sorry. He's like, why would I be annoying? I'm like, it doesn't take much when you're like
Yeah.
just annoyed. Sometimes you just have days where you're just kind of annoyed with things, you know?
Yeah.
And sometimes it's really humble to just be like, I was annoyed today. I'm sorry. I acted like it. You didn't deserve it.
We've all seen how much a sincere apology just completely changes everything. You could be
Right.
really mad at each other, and the second you have a sincere apology, everything goes out the
Keyword,
window,
sincere.
and you're just like, all right, everything's good.
Yep.
It's just that simple. But I think our pride gets in the way of why do I need to apologize? It wasn't my fault, right?
Yeah,
How
for
often do
sure.
we hear that? Well, it really doesn't matter if it's your fault or not. If you've hurt your spouse's feelings,
Yep.
you should apologize
Can't argue with
regardless.
feelings.
So.
You always say can't argue with feelings.
That's true. You
Yep.
can't. Yeah.
Nick's
But
good at apologizing. Like you could tell when your spouse is sincere or not.
oh, for sure.
And it's not hard to forgive, like you said, when there's like sincere apology, but that means change, right? Like I'm trying to be better at that. I didn't mean to do that, so I'm going to try not to do that again, kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
If you just keep doing it, your apology doesn't mean crap,
Yep, for sure.
right?
And then obviously, creating routines for better communication. That looks different for everyone.
Mhm.
It could be like a weekly meeting, a monthly meeting, no meeting at all. Like
Right.
for our marriage, we don't really need to have a meeting. We
We
just,
have meetings every night on our walk.
yeah, we just
We
talk all
do.
the time,
Yeah,
right?
we do talk a
So
lot, so
it works for us. But I think for some couples, it would be really good to
mhm.
have a weekly meeting and just say, hey, how did we do this week?
Mhm.
I love what was I thinking? Just lost my
I
train
don't
of thought. But
know.
even just every morning, just asking your spouse, what can I do to be a better husband
Or wife.
today or
Mhm.
wife today? Just
Be a
some,
better wife today.
just
Oh,
something
I
that
already know
simple.
that answer. Okay, check.
Do you want me to answer?
Nope, I already know what you're thinking because we've been married 23 years and I could feel it. I
Feel
know
it.
it.
Am I
Oh, I got it. I know what he wants. Next one.
okay? Moving on. I don't know what
You
just
know,
happened there.
you did.
Um,
Avoid personal attacks. I think we kind of already talked about that.
yeah, we did.
Kind of
I mean,
on
that's
that.
pretty
It's
self-explanatory.
literally
So,
like you have to look at your marriage. It's going to look different to everyone. How do we build emotional safety, which means trust? It means, you know,
uh,
being there for each other and listening for each other and caring for each other. Like you got to be honest.
and I think a lot of times, I mean, we're in podcast episode, what, 402 or 403 or something. So we've done a lot of podcast episodes, and people are probably thinking, oh my heck, I got so much I got to think about. And, it's just overwhelming. I got to do this. I got to do this. No, it's really simple. Like if your spouse, if you guys feel emotionally safe in your marriage, like everything else is going to come together. I really believe, right? Like,
For the most
just
part,
like
yeah.
just like what we
There's
talk
always
about.
little
If
things,
you're
but
emotionally connected as a couple, the sexual side of things is probably going to be there. If there's
mhm.
always a cause and effect. When you do something, there's always an effect of something else happening in a
Right.
positive or
Right.
negative way. So when you're doing things to have that emotional safety in your marriage, there's going to be
Hmm.
tons of other things that are a impact or effect on your marriage in a positive way.
I think if you're kind of stepping back and looking at your marriage and it's like, okay, do I feel emotionally safe in my marriage? And if there's certain aspects of your marriage where you're like, no, no, I don't. I really hope that you'll go bring those up. And I know that can be really hard. I know that sometimes it causes fights or arguments. Sometimes it's just like, I can't talk about it. There's withdrawal, there's silent treatment. Like I know those things happen. I hope that you can set some boundaries together. Go listen to the episode, like we said, on respect and communication first. And it set some healthy boundaries where like we're not going to yell, we're not going to name call, we're not going to walk away, we're not going to give silent treatment. Set those together. I know you could do it, even if it's been years of this and you're like, we are so bad at communicating, we're so bad at conflict. You can absolutely change that. We did. And
Well,
then talk to your spouse like, I don't feel emotionally safe when you do this, and this is why. And then have the other spouse, your husband or the wife, say, I heard what I'm hearing from you is that when I do this, it makes you feel like this. And they're going to say, well, not quite, or yes, that's exactly what I'm trying to say. And then it has to go the other way around. It has to, you have to say, what makes you feel emotionally safe or what makes you feel emotionally unsafe? Well, when you reject me or when I always feel like I'm not prioritized or when you get mad and yell at me or you tell me that you nag or you make a mean comment to me, that makes me feel emotionally unsafe. Like I would love you to, even if you feel a certain way, approach it a different way, in a kinder way, or maybe you could reword that in a way that's not just all I statements or you statements, you know?
Well, and if you were the spouse that's feeling like the feelings, so for example, if Amy's doing things and I'm feeling a certain way, it's my responsibility to let her know I'm feeling that way
Absolutely.
because if she doesn't ever know I'm feeling that way, it's not her fault,
You're
right?
bottling it up,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm bottling it up. So if you're feeling a certain way, it's your responsibility to at least communicate that to your spouse. And if your
Right.
spouse doesn't change, then it's on them. But
Hmm.
you have the obligation to communicate that clearly and directly with them that, hey, here's the way I'm feeling. How do we work this out? And that's the only thing
Right.
you can do is control your side of things.
And we understand there's so many situations where if the conflict's bad, the communication's bad, and there's been things that's happened in your marriage, you're like, I can't just go talk about these things. Like we understand there's people in marriages where therapy's needed, professional help is needed. We're just talking more like these kind of conversations about being emotionally secure and the little things that you can do to help build that need to be constantly happening. Even if you're in a really good marriage, it's still important to be having the conversation about this. Like I got an email and she's like, "We have a great marriage, but I just feel like the lusting problem has gotten out of hand in our relationship." Like those are important things to be like, bring it up before it gets worse.
Yeah,
Before it gets worse, right? Because if it starts getting worse, it's going to start eating you alive, and the disconnect's going to come, the withdrawal is going to come, and the whole thing is just going to collapse again. So
yeah. Well, and that's something that hopefully could be resolved pretty quickly. I mean, you ask the question, hey, I feel
I don't
like
mean to accuse you, but yeah,
but yeah, I feel
yeah,
like this, and
yeah.
I'm so sorry. I didn't even know I was doing
Mhm.
that, but I'm kind of feeling like this in our marriage. Oh, okay, let's talk about this, and then you have a great conversation. And
I feel like we make it sound like you can just go talk about these things and you're
I
not having a
know, but
conversation. Like I know that's the thing. I know that there's a lot of couples out
I,
there that like these conversations are not easy to have in our marriage. Either someone's more selfish, someone's more prideful, someone can't say sorry. I mean, there's personalities.
for sure.
I get it where this is really, really hard. And
And
so
when I say great conversation, I'm not using the word great to make it sound easy or anything like that. When I use the word great conversation, I'm talking about
maybe it's hard
it's constructive, like you're moving forward, right? It could be
or
really
trying
hard,
to move
but at
forward.
least you're putting forth that effort and having those conversations to move forward, hopefully in a positive direction.
Right.
So,
Right. We know this isn't a simple topic, but
yeah, for sure.
emotional safety is really, really important. That's why we built the app to teach about it, to help you learn how to communicate, to help with conflict, to help with the emotional intimacy so that the intimate life can just be better, right? And hopefully everyone listening isn't in some serious, I mean, we have good therapists we can recommend, etc. So
Yeah.
yeah, we just want to
Well,
help. We would be helpful. So wherever you're at, hopefully if you're like, this isn't for me, I need deeper help, then we got you. Write us.
we got your back.
We got you. Write
So
us.
check us out if you don't have the app at ultimateintimacy.com. And then if you need some great products, you want to
Mhm.
support a great cause, shop.ultimateintimacy.com.
Well, when it comes to the conversations, if you don't want to be on your phone, you're like, we literally set a boundary, to be off our phones at 7 p.m., but we still want what the app has to offer. That's why we launched the physical aspect of the products, because a lot of people are like, I'd rather be on the card deck so that we can honor that boundary of not being on our phones.
Yeah,
So we have the physical aspects of like the conversation starters. A lot of these things that we talk about in our Let's Talk About Sex book, it's actually half part emotional intimacy
oh,
and
for
these
sure.
needs on creating that strong emotional. So like the Let's Talk About Sex talks a lot of emotional stuff. The book talks a lot of emotional stuff. I just, either way, hopefully we have something that can help you have these conversations, right? That's the
Yep. And
point.
if you have any questions or feedback, Amy at ultimateintimacy.com. We appreciate you listening to the podcast today, and we're signing off.